Everyone, welcome to the news in details. Now, tuition fees will be similar in all public schools, effective next term. Take a look.
The Rwandan government has come to the decision that parents' financial contribution towards their children's education ought to be the same across the country. This will be enforceable in all public schools, which has been broadly explained by the Minister of Education.
Nta gahunda nimwe yari hari cyangwa se nta mafaranga fatizo yarateganijwe ku musanzu w'umubyeyi.
There was no active plan being referenced in regards to the parents' tuition contribution, which is why every school set their own and brought about low and high pricing as well as unnecessary charges that parents shouldn't have to succumb to. Schools asked for contributions for vehicle purchases and construction projects, which parents were coerced into approving for the good of the institution.
Ababyeyi ugasanga nta ruhare rugaragara babigizemo, nta buryo bwari buhari.
In light of this, the government has set the precedent that those parenting children enrolled in kindergarten and primary school should not exceed a tuition payment of 975 Rwandan francs per school term, which will be complementary to the 8,775 Rwandan francs the government will be facilitating for every student. For the case of those pursuing secondary education in public schools, they should not exceed a tuition fee of 19,500 for a day scholar and 85,000 for a living student. This is inclusive of school uniform, sanitary equipment, bedding, a student ID, and health insurance for student consumption. These changes have occurred in a time where price fluctuation stands at an all-time high, which is an after effect of the pandemic and the wars around the world. The Minister of Education acknowledges this and intends to support the schools as they maneuver this precurrent season.
Ntago twe tuzagena ibiciro by'amasoko. Ariko
we can't foresee market prices, but we'll cooperate with food suppliers to see what can be done. These regulations are new and we'll implement them this term and observe the changes. We're ready to support the schools through the transition.
Kubikora muri iki gihembwe cya mbere muzanabibona, tuzaba hafi cyane amashuri.
For model schools, these funds fall short in comparison to how well they facilitate their students, which the Ministry of Education has defined as exemplary.
Amashuri y'ikitegererezo buriya hazamo byinshi nta nubwo ari amafaranga gusa.
Model schools have a lot at play, not just from a financial standpoint, but in terms of operation, which include a management-based program that ensures the institution is provided with an additional 7,000 to facilitate their activities. In case you're wondering what the determining factor for the 7,000 was, it was derived from teachers working overtime that have to be compensated, as well as upgraded equipment purchases and upkeep for the schools, which is how the money is distributed.
Niho bazajya bagena uko bayaga bagabanya mu bindi shuri ryakenera.
The standardization for tuition fees in public schools are under a contract enforceable in the 2022-2023 academic year. The Ministry of Education has revealed that the 2022-2023 academic year is set to begin on the 26th of September and end on the 14th of July. Precious Tirezi, RTV News.
Thank you, Precious, for that report. Now, the Ministry of ICT and Innovation is urging entrepreneurs to create jobs that solve the issues faced by the general public. Now, this comes after the introduction of a smart prepaid card that combines numerous services. Prince Manzi has this report.
The growth of the technology in Rwanda is the accessibility of different services. These include the use of cards in paying the transport fare and other products, withdrawing money, among others. On top of that, there was an introduction of new smart card combining many and different services.
This card will help me in performing a lot of things. I can use it to pay the transport fare, paying the groceries and withdrawing money. It means I can use one card for different services.
Widi Claude Karasira, the Chief Executive Officer of the Centrica company that introduced new smart prepaid cards, Safari Bus, elaborates on how this card is used and the impact it will provide.
You can use your card to pay for transport fare in terms of motor, cabs and buses, both in Kigali and out of Kigali. For financial transactions, you can visit either a supermarket or a cafe or a restaurant Once you have received your bill, you process your payment by using the Safari Bus card. That also can be done on ATMs in case you want to withdraw money from any ATM. Basically, currently we are working with 4 banks in Rwanda. Very soon another group of banks will join. The card impacts, they are very huge. Once they are contributing to the cashless economy, which is the government vision. It is also helping for safety and better management of your wealth or your money, whereby people don't need to carry more cards.
The public sector digitalization analyst at the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, Angelo Munezero, states that the innovators should prioritize solving current issues faced by the citizens.
Rwanda is a country that actually encourages competition, where we provide fair grounds and also laws that enable doing business. We have a lot of challenges in different sectors of our economy, and what we request actually to our innovators and the private sector in general is to leverage these challenges and see them or grab them as opportunities to develop solutions that are addressing those challenges that we are facing day to day.
Since 2015 in Rwanda, there was the introduction of the transport fare payment cards, whereby in the Kigali city, transport fares are paid using cards. Now, this system is being exercised across the provinces. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
An estimated 703,000 people a year take their life around the world. For every suicide, there are likely 20 other people attempting the same, and many more with serious suicidal thoughts. According to the World Bank's collection of development indicators, Rwanda's suicidal mortality rate was 5.6% in 2019. The sharp rise in suicidal rates among the youth has been mostly credited to the coronavirus pandemic. Experts assert that the effects will become even more profound in the coming years. Our colleague Isabel Masozera spoke to Kwizera Rurinda, UL Clinical Psychology Student Board Chair of Mental Health Journal Rwanda, to investigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and explore possible preventive measures. Take a look.
Suicide rates has increased mainly according to the data from RIB, indicated from June 2019 to July 2021. So that is 13 months. So on recorded around 580, which were high compared to the recent years. So there was a big challenge within youth as mental health as response to COVID-19. So the reason, according to my perspective, it's sometimes in psychological or the well-being of an individual needs social support. So in the COVID, some situation changed, and even to cope with it, it needed social support, and some were distant to their families, to their fellows even. So the lack of that social support indicated also contributed to exacerbation of the situation.
I know you do a lot of work in the field. You work with some mental health institutions here in the country. Do you find that young people are willing to ask for help when they need it?
Considering the accessibility and also the help seeking, young people are the major, among the target population the population who doesn't seek enough help, because according to a report from RBC in 2018, so it indicated that around 61% of the population know about the availability of mental health services, but only 5% seek the help.
Only 5% of that number?
Yes, indeed.
Seeks help. Wow.
Seeks help. Imagine 5% seeks help, and people who are aware the availability of service are just 5%. So this indicates people are aware but are not seeking help. So I think the major part of not seeking help may be the stigma they're facing when they're accessibility mental health services. Sometimes also not acknowledging or not knowing what are they going through, and even people around them may not sometimes know they are facing some mental health issues. So
one would say RBC, the government of Rwanda, a lot of mental health enthusiasts have done so much to try and raise awareness. What else can be done?
There is extra need for the community itself, I mean, starting from the family, to recognize that symptom, to recognize, because all support starts from the family, understanding, help those youth to understand why are going to search for the help and accompany them in case they need it. So just have dialogue on the why, so that I think will be the best approach. So starting from schools, so schools, I mean, is a big congregation where you can find youth, and they can even deliver message from outside the school. So I think starting from school will be the best approach to me, and also reaching to the non-schooling community can be helpful indeed. In Mental Health General Rwanda, we are doing online campaign via sharing messages live from people with lived experience and lived experience, so to know that suicide, it happens, how the preventive measures, some of going to the radio and TV station to talk about this.
That was quite insightful. Now, more than 50 construction equipment suppliers from 15 countries in Africa and beyond are exhibiting the latest building materials, since construction experts have discovered that water management is important as building activities continue to expand rapidly. Nurieth Agasaro has this report.
Housing experts show that percentage of building in cities will increase to 35% in 2024 from 18.4% in 2017. So the country needs to create constructions that consider environmental protection and proper water management. Stephen Sabiti, Executive Secretary of the Rwandan Engineers Association, and Nyirinkindi Emmanuel, Executive Secretary of the Rwandan Architects Association, concur that water management and sustainable construction go with protecting water.
We want to bring in professionalism. Yeah, we want to people to do things in a proper way, in a way that is not, wasting resources. Yeah, in a way that is efficient, effective, yeah, and brings the aspect of sustainability.
As Rwanda is aiming at becoming a center of sustainable urbanization, we can't really separate building to services now. If you're buying a tap, if you're buying a toilet seat, if you're buying any equipment or sanitaries, you have to have that component of sustainability, because we don't just build houses that we consume more than what we spend on, but also give us the benefit that we expect from it.
Figures from the Rwanda Water Resources Board: each person in Rwanda regularly uses 670 cubic meters of water per year, but the goal is for each person to be able to utilize 1,700 cubic meters per year in 2050. Mariceline Kaitesi, the Director General in charge of water and sanitation, said quality housing and clean water are beneficial to both parties, so that the country has the goal of maintaining that every citizen has to access clean water by 2024.
Yeah, their contribution, we are even encouraging them to, to ensure that there is the partnership. We can't work alone as Rwandans, and of course we need to learn from others. So it's providing an opportunity and serves as partnership opportunities, so that our Rwandan companies can have partnerships with companies that are from abroad, to make sure that we perform better in terms of quality, producing quality materials and quality equipments that are needed in the water, sanitation and construction.
During this 3-day exhibition for West Africa and East Africa building and construction, more than 50 construction equipment investors from 15 African countries and beyond are exhibiting the latest equipment used in constructions. Vimal Vagela from Kenya is coming to show different types of water equipment, and George Gahigana from Rwanda is showing the solar system equipment used in irrigation. Both believe they have answers to the problem mentioned in this exhibition for water and constructions.
Yes, Rwanda is a very, very potential market because it's a very quality conscious market. They do not take nonsense for poor quality. We have showcased here physical samples from Kenya. We have brought them here for you to see what we can actually supply to the Rwandese.
We have water filters that can treat water, water for home, domestic. We have a system that can treat water for hospitals, schools. So the system is big compared to the demand. And we have also a system that can treat rainwater, a system that can treat river water. So based on the location and where people need it. And we have also a system for solar pumping system.
Tracy Nolan Shaw, the CEO of ACE Events Management in the UK, which also organized this event, says that every time she comes to Rwanda, she sees changes in constructions and in many programs, including those that support water.
It's wonderful to be back here again, to actually see projects taking place on water and sanitation and construction. And with working all over Africa, Rwanda is definitely on the right track and is a beacon to the rest of Africa. It's just absolutely amazing.
While 98% of Rwanda's water comes from inside the country, the 2013 to 2014 Rwanda Household Survey showed that 17.4% of households capture rainwater, while the increase of land use has now reached 2%. Rwanda needs 150,000 houses every year between 2020 and 2050, including more than 3.2 million houses that will be in cities due to the rapid population growth.
As you can see, we are in the exhibition, which takes place in Kigali, where we met many representatives from different countries, where they brought us so many equipments that will help us in building and construction. Nuriat Agasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Nuriath. Now, on Monday, South-South Cooperation Day was marked here in Rwanda, and it was noted that there are a lot of benefits from such cooperation in the goal to achieve sustainable development. Take a look.
The event was organized by the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative and was participated in by different officials in the developing countries. It mainly focused on different discussions about this International Day and at the same time analyzing what was achieved so far in their cooperation.
It is common knowledge that countries dependent on help can't provide much, but today it seems this era has come to an end, which is very evident with Rwanda's development of homegrown solutions for our needs that extend to our friends.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator in Rwanda, Ozania Ojiero, stated that what would be better is for developing countries to prioritize the needs of a citizen in order to achieve a fast and sustainable development, as Rwanda did after the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994.
Rwanda set up a development cooperation office, and this development cooperation office has documented all of Rwanda's own experiences since the terrible incidents of 1994 of the genocide against the Tutsi. And so what Rwanda has achieved in 28 years is remarkable. And many African countries with 60 years of independence have unfortunately been unable to achieve this. So what Rwanda offers through this Development Coordination Cooperation Office is to share Rwanda's own unique experience on everything, through the e-governance platforms, the Rainbow and all of those. And as you may have heard today, 150 delegations from more than 37 countries have come to Rwanda in the last 4 years, with more than 1,500 people who've come to share experience. So these days is significant because that's the opportunity to re-emphasize why the United Nations approved this resolution, that countries in the Global South should cooperate, work together, share experience for the benefit of our own societies and our own peoples.
The Central African Republic Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform, Marcel Jimase, states that having a strong cooperation between developing states is important and gives an example of Rwanda and the Central African Republic. As you know, the Central African Republic passed through bad history, same as Rwanda, even though it is not similar. And from that, Rwanda deployed about 1,000 soldiers to help Central Africa in bringing peace again. And this demonstrates the cooperation between these states, and other cooperation we're strengthening with the help of Rwanda Cooperation on leadership and technology improvement.
Qui couvre en particulier le domaine de la réforme administrative et de la digitalisation. Donc,
Rwanda's Chief Justice, Dr. Faustin Ziryayo, participated in this event on behalf of the government, and he stated that by learning from other countries with the same history and vision, Rwanda managed to achieve a lot in terms of tourism and hospitality, health, gender equality, and others. The event was also participated by different ministers from Chad, the Central African Republic, Gambia, permanent secretaries in different ministries in Rwanda, and leaders of different national bodies. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
A group of 13 medical specialists from the UK is currently in Rwanda working with surgeons to provide otolaryngology care. Nurieth Agasaro has this report.
This event was supposed to occur in different Rwandan hospitals, but it started at the CHU hospital in Kigali. Joseline is one of the patients who has previously received surgical assistance. She believes that hopefully this treatment will help because she has been struggling with infertility problem for 11 years. I waited because they had told me to come on 28th of October and then again on 30th. But now I'm lucky enough because they called me on the first session and the treatment went well. They treated me well because they use technology rather than operating on me. If you delay to get treatment early, the disease worsens. But if you get treatment early, they treat you and you get better. Dr. David Ntirushwa, a gynecologist at the Kigali University Hospital, says that those who are able to get treatment early and they follow up on their case have a chance to be treated and recover. This treatment is carried out with the help of advanced technology, where the doctor operates without making a large opening at the surgical area. Rwanda expert also says that this collaboration allows Rwandan doctors to learn more about their profession using technology.
When there is infertility issue, the issue might not necessarily come from the woman, because we always say that it's like 50-50 in fact. 40% of infertility are just male infertility, then 40% from the female, then we have around 10% where we have both factors, and even sometimes 20% where we don't find the cause. So as you said, it's always very important that the couples come to the hospital whenever there is a delayed fertility. And when we find out it is from the woman, we just manage. But during this week, we are having, I would say, a special week where we are operating on patients who come to us using advanced techniques of minimal invasive surgery. So minimal invasive surgery is a technique where when we do surgery, we make a very small incision, which most of the time you can difficultly even see that you had a scar. And with that, we insert small instrument, which allows us to visualize the structure or the abnormal structure. And then with the aid of a camera, through the camera, we have also a screen in front of us, which allows us to see the abnormality or where we want to operate, and then remove or just cure the patient based on the condition the patient is having.
Alexander Obo, a gynecological specialist from UK, testified to the success of this partnership between Rwanda hospitals in collaboration with the Legacy of Hope organization, which was founded by a Rwandan who currently resides in the UK.
On Monday, we had 2 cases to do, and they were both laparoscopic surgery. And that is keyhole surgery to look into the abdomen and pelvis for a woman and to hopefully try and correct any tubal damage. So you have women who have tried to achieve a pregnancy, and they fail to achieve the pregnancy because their fallopian tubes are blocked, and they're blocked for various reasons. So what we've done in the last 3 days is been able to open up the blocked fallopian tubes, which does increase your chances of achieving a normal pregnancy. I don't know about Kigali, but I know all over the world, society and women especially do want to have children. And I think what this hospital is doing is fantastic, trying to provide the service. So women are given the opportunity to have their fertility restored and to have children.
Ozen Havuka, the Rwandan founder of the Legacy of Hope organization, who is also the one who invites those specialists, is explaining the current outcomes of those efforts.
Nk'umunyarwanda w'umudiaspora nabonye ko hari abaganga mfite dukorana.
As a member of diaspora, I have noticed that the doctors I work with and the people I laid in my church will be important in my country. That is how I decided to bring them. Every year they are increasing, and I already made an agreement with Minisante and CHUK so that we will be sending the number of experts that are needed in the country. Among the one we bought are ENT specialist and a gynecologist. We were here in April also. We were having a gynecologist in Nyarugenge Hospital, but when we arrived, there were many patients who could not be treated, and we asked to increase the number.
Ko hari abasigaye ari benshi duhitamo ko twakongera umubare. Nta ba specialist benshi dufite bitewe n'umubare.
Dr. Martin Nyundo, Kigali University Hospital, appreciates the outcome of the collaboration between those hospital and experts, which has been ongoing for more than 7 years through the Legacy of Hope organization. He also stresses that the most essential part of those experts' initiative is the treatment and education that they provide to their doctors. Nuria Tagasaro, RTV News.
On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now.